Because what do you think sort of made them want to go a different way with their first 2 picks? You know, focusing sort of the Sacred Mars, getting it backed up by that early support pick, rather than throwing the Brood in as one of their first 2. Why did they not want to play it themselves?
I'm not too sure. I know Beast Coast have been playing a lot of teamfight in this tournament where they kind of just win the game off of fighting all the time. We've been talking about JimPark a lot this tournament, I think. Everyone, you know, this guy's been really flashy, so he fights a lot. They were talking about the Silver Edge on the panel, and he always wants to kill heroes, no matter how the game's going. Even for Shopify, they're down 10,000 gold, and JimPark is just setting up kills across the map. So I think they just wanted to get heroes that could take the fight to them.
Step up here, push them away for the bounty. Sacred Bull, grab it. So, looks to be the 2 for 2. We'll see how the setup with the side lanes go. So top lane, we are going to have Ramses backed up by Sol on this Morph Disruptor. They're going to be up against Sacred Mars and Schofield Grimstroke. Grimstroke, you know, not a hero that a lot of teams are touching right now. What do you feel that Beast Coast as a team, they see in it, and what do they see in it here? What do you think Schofield was making the call for to get the Grimstroke in action this game?
I think it's most likely a way to deal with the Morphling. Because if Morphling's the strongest hero in the game and you can make a copy of him, then you have the strongest hero in the game. So, and probably a little of lane push, dealing with the Brood Spiders. You have I think one of the big things in the patch is the map is really big. There's a lot of camps, so the ability to push lanes out on supports is really helpful. Which is, I guess no one really picks the hero, so no one really knows what he does, so we'll see how it turns out.
Let's see if Schofield's going to be annoying for Ramses. Maybe if he's even able to find these opportunities to clip him from the fog, catch him with these silences. Look at it like the mid matchup. I think Key Attacker by the end of the draft, he had quite a few options left open for him. Goes the way of the Keeper of the Light. Do you like this sort of final choice here for the 9Pandas? Is this kind of offering them something that they were lacking in their draft beforehand?
Yeah, I think they kind of had a choice of either committing to this full triple with the supports, like a triple ranged support duo, where they have Rubick, Disruptor, and kotl spamming spells from 2,000 range. And Beast Coast can never actually get this team fight off. Mars can't press Arena, Leshrac can't do damage. And I think it's usually easy to pick that stuff versus the Silencer, as the global won't really affect you if you're not committed to a fight. So I kind of like the direction that they went the Keeper of the Light. It's starting to get more popular. I know Nigma's been playing it a lot in the season with Mikey, so we might see teams pick it up more and more.
Still has the potential to farm super fast, and if you get good time in those bots, you can be very, very potent with those early movements to back up your teams on the side lanes. See, top lane, Solo. A glimpse back on Schofield. Schofield can stand his ground. It's the Inkswell not actually going to catch Solo with the stun. Solo can continue to chase this. Schofield, he's still got Fairy Fire. Ready if necessary. Salve also there, so he's good to go. Just try to trade with him. And so far, it doesn't look like any of the lanes are having any cause missing out massively on the farm. I mean, do you anticipate that one of these matchups is going to start to get a lot harder anytime sooner for one of the sides?
There shouldn't be too much action. Both of the carries don't die. They're Morphling Medusa. And the offlaners both also just want to farm and get their gold. So I think the biggest thing is going to be around 5 minutes to 6 minutes in the siege mid. Specifically around 9Pandas. They want to play around this kotl when he gets 6. He wants to use Solar Bind, nuke down the Leshrac. Leshrac wants to push the tower with the siege, so that's going to be the really big timing to see how the early game shakes out.
On top lane, this should be first blood. Sacred chases out Solo. He'll get the first kill on the board. I mean, Sacred on his Mars, he's had some pretty impressive performances, and one of the reasons why they'll happily grab it and secure it for him first in the draft. See if he's able to turn this fantastic start into another one of them.
I'm really curious because Mars, we have a nickname for him of the God of Poor, as he usually has a pretty rough time in the lane, and it kind of transitions in the game. But when you give him a really good start, he gets a fast blink, he sets up a lot of arena kills in the early game. It's really scary. The Sheep and Refresher that people get late game turns out to be really powerful at some point.
Yeah, I mean, are you sort of a fan of, in terms of build on the Mars, always kind of do the blink, the BKB? You don't like some of these offlaners do try and make the Meteor Hammer work?
Hot lane on Stinger, he's going to go down.
And Mira's able to pick up the kill. Nothing that can be done to hold back.
Yeah, I think the biggest of Mars is just his utility from Arena.
That should help.
When people used to try to go like Armlet and Desolator and just play off of the God's Rebuke.
That sounds kind of pog.
It was really fun to watch people do and supports die, but I think just the utility of pressing Arena in general, especially versus a range like Morphling, where you can play around this block of ranged attacks, is really nice.
A bit of a pause here, and looking at the CS across the board, I mean, that mid lane, definitely a fair few denies that Dark Marga's been able to get in, so whilst Kiyotaka, of course, has had the availability to clean out the way as easily with the blast, Dark Margo taking away some of that XP from him. A bit of this advantage in the matchup.
Yeah, one of the nice things is on Dire mid, you have this medium camp right above you, or large camp. And so he's been stacking this camp, kind of farming it every other minute. So he has the ability to kind of catch up.
Sure.
So it's not going to be too bad for him. But yeah, Keeper of the Light is a hero that you want to be ahead. You're going to get fast boots of travel. You buy Vessel in this hero a lot of the time, which is kind of a weak item. And it's also a snowball item. You need a kill to have any value of the item. So anytime this hero starts to fall behind, it can get a little worrisome.
And then the game plan for Dark Margo, if he gets this lead, has this good start, it's going to be able to pressure this tower first before he moves to sort of top to pressure the Morphling's tower, or can he make those moves before he's actually taken the tier 1?
I think he'll probably look to just run top pretty early in the game. He doesn't want to fight this ball from 9Pandas in the mid lane. Keeper of the Light really strong, hard to take this tower, but the Morphling, if this hero has to jungle very early, he gets his tower taken by some random rotation, it can really hurt his speed of the game.
Bottom lane, decent damage over towards Mira, but we'll be fine. So that's the safety of the Lotus. 1 charges that he pops. Parker himself also getting pretty full on the 1 charges here, so once they get upon him, we'll have those 1 charges. Mangoed up as well. He's trying to chase Parker. They do have the fact that Solo's come across with the gate, gets the glimpse back. Parker is in a whole world of pain now. They'll take him down with the +1.
Nice warp gate from Solo. Goes across the map, gets the kill. Ramsey's also, he's playing Morphling. He doesn't really need to be babysat the entire laning stage, so it'll free up Solo to connect to his fellow support.
You have to be more cautious there. I think as well that was a few of the mangoes maybe even...
Oh no, he's going to get glimpsed.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, Solo. He's ready to get him, and indeed... Oh! Actually not going to have the vision of him soon enough, so Parker's... He's going to be fine. Solo not quite having the sight on him to set up for that glimpse back, so... I mean, Parker, he doesn't know how close he was to being very sad that...
I think Parker actually had a ward and he placed it on this warp gate, and so he caught vision of Solo. Very thankfully that he caught vision of Solo.
Yeah, that could have hurt. I really would have dying and then being sent back. It's one of those situations that Disruptor can really kind of send you over the edge, really tilt you with if he catches you with those glimpse plays early.
We're going to see the support's going to collapse on mid on the 6 rune, shield rune for Dark Mago, so a little lucky on this one.
That's an easy kill for Kiyotaka and Antares. That's too much. Margo considering if he can maybe chase one of these 2 down, but it'll be held back by the Solar Bind. Easy space for Antares to break away from him. Dark Margo not really able to punish them here. Bottom lane, Miro, he will get punished. Tell me the Arcane Curse and the last word. Set up to take the Spider down and free up this lane. A little bit more for Parker to continue to get the CS and have this lead at the moment against Miro in this bottom lane.
Yeah, nice read from Beast Coast to go on the Broodmother. The second they see the Rubick mid, they know that he's left alone. And I think they kind of bait him in with Stinger a little, so really good pick off.
Get the glimpse back onto Sacred. Good spear though to create the distance between him and Ramses. So Sacred again able to survive. Even if they try for the burst, he's 1 charges Lotus, so he's okay. Match up against Ramses. So it's for him 30 for 5, but yeah, 46 for 14. Ramses, as we saw and you said earlier, getting left in sort of the 1v1, completely handling this Mars. Feels no threat whatsoever. He's getting every last hit.
Yeah, this even though he's getting every last hit, he's kind of starting to fall behind Dark Mago on the Leshrac, so I wouldn't be surprised if this Morph gets kicked out. It can start to feel weird, especially when the Medusa doesn't get kicked out.
Bounty.
Having it kind of lopsided where 1 carry jungles and the other doesn't can start to feel really bad, especially if you're offlaner and this Brood is just going to farm and not really buy much utility items. We'll see what he goes, but a lot of the Broods have been going for Echo Saber into like a BKB, trying to be more of a right-click core. So that can kind of feel bad for the Morphling if he's left behind.
And Dark Margo, they'll swing around towards the bottom lane for the easy kill. Now get the setup onto Antares. They'll turn up for the kill and quickly resume back towards the mid. Same time, Kiyotaka has got his eyes on Sacred. Any way out of there for him, he's on his own. It's too much magical burst. I mean, Sacred gets the spear off, drops the arena, pushes back Kiyotaka with the rebuke. He's still alive. He is going to get glimpsed back. He's still not quite dead yet, Sacred. Finally, he falls, but it takes a lot of effort. Now Dark Margo's going to look to get kills in return. Turns towards Solo, takes out the one of them, Ramses. He's got to be careful. Will immediately remove the bug. It's enough to allow him to waveform back to the tower. It's Beast Coast and be able to punch back, but they do lose their offlaner.
That was a really sick arena. He speared him just out of the range of the arena, so he almost lived if it was up for the
Radiant's
glimpse.
middle tower is under attack.
I really did his best to live as long as he could against the efforts of the 3 members of 9Pandas. Quite enough to survive, though. 4 for 4. It's a close opening here. 8 minutes in. I mean, the numbers are as even as it gets. I mean, when you consider the heroes that we're having in play, do you think there is a team that's a bit happier with the outcome of the laning stage so far?
It's hard to say. I think both teams in their heads are thinking that, you know, don't worry guys, we got this late game. We got this. So I don't actually know if I give either team the edge. It's probably the team that's able to break the safe lane tower first. So whether 9Pandas can end up taking this tower with the Brood or the Leshrac goes to top and kicks the Morphling out, I think that's probably the biggest factor of who's going to win the next 5 to 10 minutes.
See Darkmargo just continue to hover around the bottom lane. Run up the camps. Sort of hit with the Arcane Curse. Schofield connects with the Stroke of Fate.
Medusa's really low. He's giant spider.
These spiders!
Oh no.
Oh dear! That's a painful death there. I mean, the spider's a little too spooky for JimPark. They get the glimpse back on Schofield. The spiders, they're still good to go. They're going to get both of them. They might even get... I mean, Sticker's got to be careful.
He's okay, but that feels really bad. You ring your mid, you bring both your supports. The Brood walks away. He doesn't even have a ward there. And then your carry dies, your support dies, and now they're going to lose the tower.
Now that hurts. That hurts big time there for JimPark. We'll see if he returns towards the bottom lane. He does not. He's going to go straight towards the top. He doesn't want to go anywhere near that spider for quite some time again after that bit of an incident.
Yeah, I was about to compliment how Beast Coast have been kind of controlling the Brood and saving their tower, just like I was saying, where they needed to protect the tower, but now it's kind of done. Lost all this safe lane. They're probably not going to be able to go into this bot side of the map for a long time. Infested right now, so they need to take a tower on the side of Beast Coast, I would say.
Yeah, I've got the arena back up for Sacred. I mean, with him and Darkmargo, maybe they can make something happen. Darkmargo's going to step back to base, but when he does come back out, he has got a haste in the bottle, so...
He also has Yules, which I actually really like. He's one of the only Leshers that still go Yules. Most of them buy the Bloodstone.
Schofield, these spiders continue to be quite a bit of a problem. Gets dragged back into them with the glimpse. He's out. Another kill here. One hero who's really taking over this half of the map.
We're going to catch the kotl mid, maybe.
Setups there. Darkmargo starting to follow up. Now pop the global silence to make sure the Darkmargo can continue to push forward to take the kill, get the fairy fire off. It will still die. Darkmargo in return might be in trouble. They get the spear connection, they lock down Antares, but Darkmargo will fall. Static Storm laid down by Solo. He's looking towards Stinger. A few right clicks and the tower hits will do it. Ramsey's also swinging over to get involved as they're turning towards Sacred. Won't be able to chase him, but fair damage to push him back. And they dive in, they get the kill on Key Attacker, but they lose 2 heroes for it in return, Beast Coast. And now they're going to take damage on their own tier 1 mid as Ramsey's. He'll start the push.
Might even lose it if the Brood wants to connect over from bot. But they probably don't need to use the resources. It looks really good. The Keeper Light instantly dies in the global. The Rubick also dies, but just the Disruptor is too hard of a hero to dive into. With silence, with glimpse.
A really good move from 9Pandas to connect with the numbers that they did there. Make sure the Beast Coast do not get away with that deep play beyond the tower. Team in solo. Go for the glimpse. We'll see if these two have the damage. I mean, with Miro coming in from the side, they'll have a decent shot. He's able to turn, put the spear onto the spider, hold Miro back. But Miro will continue to chase forward. Darkmargo is ready to hold him back. Yules combo into the stun. They focus the spider. He's going to try for the TP out, but the overwhelming damage here from Darkmargo with the pulse nova is enough to take him down. They get the curse, the last word onto Solo to allow them to take out the 2 of them. It's Beast Coast. This time they hold their tier 1 tower and they'll push back towards 9Pandas as Miro sticks around a little too long.
Both teams are kind of just trying to get kills really hard because of how slow the game's been and everyone just farming their own jungle. And it's not really working out for either team. Besides maybe the Medusa. Medusa's really happy. He hasn't seen a hero in a while after those 2 deaths.
Yeah, he's kind of caught up, especially considering what the death down bottom from JimPark. It did sort of cause a situation where Ramses was starting to get the lead in farm, but we can see right now they're back on straight even.
Bot lane. Sacred's maybe going to get caught by the glimpse.
Should be easy to finish him off. Yeah, Antares with a burst, the lightning storm of the Fade bot, not a chance for Sacred. Keeping the leading kills, 9Pandas. They can get back to looking to take this mid tier 1 off the map.
Third time is the charm, they'll get it. But the Leshracs in the TP, maybe try to get a catch.
Should get some sort of Yule setup. Gonna get held back momentarily by the telekinesis. Still on top of Solo, gets glimpsed back though. As that's him out of the picture, Dark Margo, and Schofield, he's now left alone. As Antares gets back in, takes down the Grimstroke.
Interesting. And at least the glimpse now means that he can take this top tower, so they'll open up some of the map, at least for their team to kind of play around.
He's a bit scared of Kiyotaka. He doesn't actually want to stick for this.
Interesting. It's looking pretty hard for Beast Coast to kind of maneuver the map. It's a little scary for them because of how much map that they're kind of being cut off. Again, the nice thing I was saying earlier is Dark Mago doesn't really go for this really greedy build of Bloodstone, Boots of Travel on Mushrack. He goes like fighting, ganking, kind of spirit hero, where he goes Yule's Blink and then sometimes even just Kaya, just for more damage. But he's ready to go. The second that his supports kind of respawn, get resources, he'll probably look to finish his top tower off.
9Pandas, they're also ready to go. Stinger is going to get spotted out. I mean, it's sort of what you earlier, just the way that 9Pandas, they have so much poke from quite the distance that they could just spell super freely without punished. And these squishy heroes like the Silencer, they don't stand a chance. Static Storm's down quickly though. Make sure there's not going to be any immediate follow-up after the arena. They'll still try and fight this though. Park steps in with the Stone Gaze. Put the opening stun onto Kiyotaka, will blast them back. Try and run. He's pretty speedy here on the call. He's able to turn, get another blast off. Now Parker's running low on mana. Miro. They're backing on top of him. They couldn't kill Kiyotaka. The global comes out. Taka. Dark Margo making a bit of a recovery in this fight, but the fight is not over. He's going to get glimpsed back. They've lost 3.
He's a blink.
And they've got, oh, indeed, the stun. It's going to be dodged by Dark Margo. Yule's into the blink out. He'll get away.
That's pretty good, honestly, all things considered for Beast Coast. They are deciding that they want to hold this bot jungle from the Brood. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to go to the top side, so they have to throw these bodies and take these fights. And all in all, it's not the worst. They get some kills. They get a return kill. The Keeper dies. The Medusa dies, which is the worst thing that can possibly happen for Beast Coast.
Yeah, Parker kind of getting held back a little bit there. His farm's still good, still up on the top 2, but turning up to the fight, so getting involved in the fights inadvertently is not proven to be too healthy for Parker right now. Dark Margo just absolutely keeping the team in check with how much he's finding with these little cleanups. Turns up, gets out, 5-1 and 3. He's doing a lot to rectify what's been quite a tough early game for Beast Coast other cores, especially Sacred, who is now starting to fall quite far behind.
You know, one nice thing is they're down like 3K, 4K gold, but their cores are still kind of at the top of the network chart. And the Mars is kind of the thing that's holding him back. He's really poor compared to his counterpart in the Broodmother. But he doesn't really need gold to do his job. He just needs to be able to press arena, which he has been being able to do in most of these fights. He hasn't been dying before getting it off. So it's better than it looks, I think, for Beast Coast. This gold is not a disaster for them yet.
Sacred might be being taken down again here, though. Static Storm's laid down. Far too much damage for the Mars to withstand as 9Pandas. They'll take him out, and now with the push coming in towards the tier 2, they can look to try and pressure this nice and early, just 60 minutes in. So what sort of a defense comes out from Beast Coast? Dark Margo will show up. Start to clear out the spiders very effectively as well. That'll be enough to push them back. Dark Margo continuing to hold the defense here for Beast Coast.
Beast Coast is probably playing for... Looks like they're going for Scotty on the Medusa, so they're probably going to look to play around some Scotty into Roche timing and just full commit, walk down the lane with Medusa, end the game. Scotty is still really good versus Morphling. The item doesn't actually work through BKB anymore in the new patch, but Morphling does not buy BKB really. So very good in that matchup, and I would say that's probably going to be their strongest timing. The Mars isn't going to get any items for a long time. He actually switched up from the BKB to a Yule's just to find a cheaper option. The supports as well are not really getting any high impact items, so the second as Medusa gets an item, I don't really see a point in Beast Coast waiting.
Already looking to try and make something happen with the smoke up on Sacred, Stinger and Schofield. See if they can catch this spider, find Miro.
Hard kill.
They know he's around, so he's going to get to spell on Schofield. They know he's in this camp. They get the setup here, there's the jump, they're in with the arena, but the BKB's out. Miro, he turns straight towards Schofield, will bring down the Grimstroke, and with the remainder of his BKB, he'll TP out. Miro gets the kill, gets away, despite the attempts of 4 heroes from Beast Coast to catch him.
It looked scary. The Ogre camp gave him a little stomp and he got stunned, but they didn't find him in time. They couldn't get the chain stun. And a really nice play by Miro.
tied to the impurities.
Now JimPark finishing up the Scotty. He's only about 100 gold away. So Roche is also top. So we might see Beast Coast try to either get to top right now and instantly Roche, or kind of, they have to do the smoke again, I guess, to kind of recontrol the bot area to take out the Radiant Wave. It's going to feel a little awkward right now for this next minute or so for Beast Coast.
I mean, can Beast Coast force the Roshan without looking for a kill beforehand?
I think they might have to. 9Pandas just has a better map playing team. The Keeper Light pushes lanes, the Broodmother, and the Morphling's just been able to exist anywhere he wants on the map. Whereas for the side Beast Coast, Bars, every time he's shown on the map, he's died. He can't really exist anywhere on the map. So Beast Coast is kind of being funneled into staying together in this very small area of the map, and they can't really play around. So the longer and longer that goes on, you kind of start to lose everything. So at some point, they're going to need to turn the gas on and need to fight for every part of the map that they can.
We'll see again with that replay. They tried their best to get that jump on the Spider, but Miro, quick fingers with the BKB. Having the awareness that he had just enough time with that BKB duration to get a kill before he has to get out.
It's also always funny to see the Yules during their BKB, and they just randomly get lifted the second the BKB ends. It makes those BKB TPs even scarier now.
It does,
because you can't mess up the timing.
And not easy anymore with the BKBs, and not easy when you're playing those jogs and life stealers. We'll be ready for that catch coming in instantly when the
is under attack.
debuff immunity comes in.
Nice surround on this bot tower. The Keeper of the Light just travels on the spiders, kind of encircles the tower, so there's no way for Beast Coast to defend outside of a glyph. It looks like they're going to try to, but 9Pandas might just go Roche. They kind of hit their timing, so go time for them.
Did Beast Coast sort of let this happen, or do they pull together an effort to threaten this Roche attempt?
It looks like they're going to try to fight this. I think they have to. They got the Scotty on Medusa, and this Roche could be the end of the game if 9Pandas gets it for free. And it's already starting to drop really fast.
They've got to get there soon. Can Beast Coast make it there in time? If they wish to go for it, they're kind of hesitating.
Doesn't look like they'll make it.
And they're not going to be able to make the call soon enough. It's not quite set up.
They're also under a ward.
Middle tower has fallen.
Looking a little scary for them.
I mean, yeah, they'll surely know that there's going to be something up there. Yeah, they'll take the ward down. 9Pandas, they've got all the info they need. They're able to finish Roche, get the Aegis picked up onto Ramses, and they'll actually head away. They don't want to run into this fight. They know that Beast Coast, playing under that vision that they took down, were going to be looking for a smoke themselves. They don't want to get caught by it, 9Pandas. They'll look to reset and force Beast Coast to kind of waste time looking for some action that they probably won't get.
Yeah. It's a nice read because Beast Coast, again, they need this team fight. They have Bars, he has to team fight. They have Grimstroke, Sound for supports, they only can team fight. And so, even if you lose the Roche, you can force a team fight to happen outside the pit. So 9Pandas make the read that you can just play the map. You can just farm for another minute or two before you use Aegis. They'll just walk away. Just don't give Beast Coast the fight. It's that simple.
And they didn't quite have the Agnums that you get done on Ramses. They've got it now. Just delivered out. Ramses, he'll be very well prepared for the next fight with the Ags and the Aegis.
Morphags has to be the item of the tournament with the hero. I think he's still 100% pick rate and ban rate in this tournament.
I think there was one game. We did it. I think it was one of the series. I can't remember the match of it. I think it was either sort of. I think it was Bleed series on the tiebreaker day. But I think outside of that, every single time we've seen this the old water boy in the pixel the jar, pixel bands.
He's gonna look to just turn into the Medusa, steal all of her stats. Something I wouldn't be surprised we actually end up seeing JimPark go is a Moonshard. It's kind of been the pseudo counter to Morphling, as he can't steal percentage of your attack speed. It's one of the better ways to actually be able to play versus
still fight.
Yeah,
that's pretty big brain.
But it looks like he's going to go for Butterfly just as a way to exist in the fight versus Broodmother and Morph and not just get destroyed by all the random attacks. It's looking hard. It's looking really hard for Beast Coast.
Yeah, do you like sort of the build-up from Miro this game? The Mage Slayer, BKB, and then looking for the Manta next as the Brood.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of Mage Slayer since it's such a fun item. I love just hitting a hero and they just do 35% less damage. So I think it's surprising that he didn't buy a pipe though. I think the more common route would just be to buy a pipe and do a very similar thing for your team.
Yeah, I guess he feels he can build for himself. And Miro, he's just going in. He's terrifying them as well. Beast Coast, they run away from this spider.
Trying to get vision for glimpse.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top tower.
I think it's good. Again,
attack.
he was playing for the Echo Saber kind of right-click build, so this is probably the middle ground between utility and just straight damage.
I guess you feel sort of the rest of the team have got themselves covered, right? Both supports have got a Glimmer, Kitaka's got a BKB, and Ramses, you know, he's a slippery fellow on this Morphling, so
yeah.
He's like, you guys don't need the pipe buff. I'm just going to build for myself to become this additional carry.
Yeah, and again, it's like there's 3/4 it feels for 9Pandas, and even like 1.5, maybe 2 for Beast Coast. This Mars is not really going to have much impact. You end up buying this Yules, and all this item does is it catches heroes if you're ahead, and using it when you're behind just always feels bad. So it's going to be really awkward for them to fight. I'm not sure the best way for Beast Coast to take the fight. It probably has to do with the Medusa just killing everyone.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Parker this game to something crazy, and his farm is still fantastic.
Tinker's gonna get caught.
Gets found. Parker, yeah, should be able to get at least the butterfly done in preparation for when the inevitable high ground push comes in. 9Pandas still continuing to play sort of split and farm up during this Aegis. So they've only got a minute and a half left on it. They're going to be continuously happy with the progression they're getting. Ramses, just a recipe away in terms of gold from his BKB. They're going to hit this really strong BKB timing on their 3 cores.
Something we have not talked about is the Schofield Ags on River Stroke.
He's making his way there.
Dire's bottom tower
He's almost there. He's only about 900 gold off.
Radiant
And
structures
this is pretty
are
good
fortified.
after they changed the BKBs. The illusion has 95% magic resistance.
95%.
Cannot be stunned because it's debuffing you the entire duration. So
what, you get one of these of the Morphling, and
yeah,
it can be pretty terrifying.
Radiant's
the
top
Morphling
tower
will steal your
is under
Medusa.
attack.
Now you're kind of stealing them back for. I could see something happening if he's able to focus.
Pandas as well, because certainly indeed this dark portrait might just start killing him.
You know, maybe shooting for the stars a little here, but I think it's some combination of that and the Medusa as their chances.
It could work. I mean, we're going to get to see it before the end of this game, no doubt about it. And maybe the power of the dark portrait. I mean, you sort of said this yourself from the draft. This could have been just the plan all along for Beast Coast. They're like, well, we're going to pick this Grimstroke, not a super hot support right now, until the moment we get that Axe against their Morphling.
Yeah, I don't know the exact game. I watched it in one game in this tournament, and it looked okay. So the hero's not, you know, terrible, but I don't think he's been able to have much impact because of his cores. I don't think it's necessarily his fault. Leshrac is not the greatest combo. It doesn't really pair well with the ult. He kind of commits his go in, but he doesn't have the mobility early game like an Ember. You know, you press Inkswell on an Ember, he's going to just run it in and he'll stun heroes. Leshrac doesn't really have that chance. And the Mars, who could do that, hasn't had the game to do it. So it's been a little tough for him, but maybe this Axe changes it all.
Yeah. And imagine, you know, obviously Ramses himself, he'll be able to turn and threaten the Dark Portrait, and it kind of has to be him, right? Him and Miro, the 2 right clickers. The other 3 heroes are indeed not going to do anything against that 95% resistance that this Dark Portrait has. So eyes on Ramses to deal with that when it comes out, because if he doesn't, it will kill the rest of his team.
Yeah, you have to right click it.
Yeah. So
no other option. If Morphling doesn't focus it for the first few seconds of the fight, it will kill him.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a big mistake. So I'm sure Ramses is prepared. They'll see that Axe soon being shown on Schofield. See how well they deal with it. The mid.
Catching the Brood.
He's going to get the BKB off in time. Miro trying to charge down Dark Margo. Dark Margo's able to get away. Miro's going to opt for the TP outlook, but he's going to get caught by the Yules. They're able to catch him, put a stop to the TP. They don't get the kill. That's Miro gone for 50.
Really, really nice catch. Especially also the thing happens where he gets Yules at the very last second of BKB, it cancels his TP, and get the kill.
They can go for anything whilst the Brood is dead. The rest of 9Pandas, they'll quickly back off to their half of the map. The attacker, he's got the next grab. The Hex is in.
Yeah, this kotl hasn't really done much after the early game, besides running around the supports. He's just been pushing lanes, collecting it, giving space for his Morphling. I think this Hex is kind of the turning point of the hero, where it becomes really strong. JimPark, though, he's got his items. He's really farmed.
Dire's bottom tower is
He's got 20,000 net worth, still climbing, has Butterfly now finished. I'm surprised what his next item will be.
See if he's indeed considering that Moon Shard you talked about. Or we'll go for some sort of Silver Edge, like sometimes. Grab their Wisdom Rune. away from 9Pandas. 9Pandas, they've got Miro back in action. What they can set up for out on the map. TP's coming in.
Dark Mago has a shield rune for this next fight, which is actually really big. The shield rune is really crazy to me. It lasts 90 seconds, I think. It gives you 50% more health. You just can't die. So you'll be able to run in kind of carefree. Still has this BKB up. You didn't have to click in the mid lane. So Discos has an opportunity to actually win this team fight.
See who 9Pandas can catch. The Ags on Schofield, it wouldn't be a bad catch to immediately eliminate the Grimstroke if they find him.
Schofield's playing so far to the right. He doesn't want to get caught.
Yeah, he knows with them off the map, they're probably approaching from behind. They get to jump onto Sacred. The Static Storm, trying to focus him.
Schofield.
They'll get the link onto the two of them. The BKBs are out, the Global's there. They've lost Schofield. See now if JimPark can stand his ground, put the stone gates. The turn back over towards Ramses. Ramses using Medusa himself. Ramses is caught by the stuns. He's out. They managed to kill them all and maybe get more now. Dark Margo pushes forward with a BKB. Miro has to lay down the webs and run.
Dark Portrait.
It's chasing them. It's soon to come to an end. Miro taking a good few hits from it. And they do lose 3 there, Beast Coast, but they do get Ramses. I mean, 9Pandas not without casualties in that one.
That was probably the worst the fight could have gone. Schofield blinked in, I think, a little aggressively and got instantly caught, so he didn't really get like a second round of spells off. But this Dark Portrait, I was following in the fight, and poor Solo.
Did it do a lot?
It just killed him from 100% health. You're just getting chased by it. He can't click a button on it. He can't slow it. He can't stun it.
I mean, yeah, someone's got to be prepared to deal with it. I guess that time round as well, because Ramses got caught and taken down. He's kind of the main guy that needs to deal with that Dark Portrait. And if he's gone, ain't nobody else going to be able to do much about that.
Yeah, the Morphling has to focus it. So it's really cool that if this Morph gets gone on and he's the one being stunned, he can't deal with his own illusion.
Yeah.
kotl can't deal with it. Rubick can't deal with it. So maybe it's on the Brood, but even at that point, it's just a lot to just commit to just one support. If Schofield is able to live in these fights and actually get, a couple rounds of Ink Swell off, maybe a couple stroke of Fates, the fight, I think, is supposed to be a lot easier for Beast Coast to play.
And Schofield's going to have all the tools to have his positioning. Obviously, with his Blink Dagger, queuing up the Glimmer next. He's got the cast range of the Psychic Headband. 9Pandas are going to have their work cut out if they want to stop Schofield from getting to press the buttons, getting to press the Dark Portrait at the start of the fight.
Roche is up. It looks like they're going to get another free Roche on the side of 9Pandas. JimPark's kind of moving his way down there, but it seems really slow. I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time. Unless some crazy warp gate plate happens right now.
Yeah, it should be a free one for them here. See them to get there next time online. Dark Margo, he has the Hex complete. That last fight, how's Sacred doing on his BKBs? Got off the mid-throw hammer, but still 1300 off from having it completed.
His game is very bad. He's behind the Rubick in net worth, so...
rough.
Again, the nice thing is all he has to do is press Arena. He has done his job if he presses Arena. That is it. End of the story, so... He has not that much on his shoulders. It's a lot on the left track, it's a lot on the Grimstroke. Medusa, you just sit there and hope that at some point they die before you do.
Smoke time. Both teams. East Coast not afraid, wants more to fight into the pickup of the Aegis and the cheese that 9Pandas claim. Of course, 9Pandas with those pickups, they want to force the issue. And deal with this mid wave, but already Illusions will have the wave pushed right up to tier 2, so let's just spend a bit of time bringing that wave down. Same to be set up top.
Catching the Brood in the middle.
See if they can knock him down. They've got him with the spear, the follow-up stun, they've got him. Miro's gone, and now the BKB, Dark Margo wants to try and chase for more. Closing the gap, had the Yule set him onto Solo. Solo, he's caught as well. He's going to get glimmered, but it won't save him. They see him, they take him out. Ramsey's trying to get it on towards Dark Margo. He's going to get caught by the Stone Gaze, and they're going to take Ramses down potentially. He's able to get the waveform off. Blink out from Dark Margo. Dark Margo's never get away. The Hex is there, and Dark Margo turns back in and sets up for them to take down Ramses the once.
Dark Portrait's chasing Kiyotaka. He can't even enter the fight.
And they get the spear onto Ramses. They're ready to set up for a second attempt here. He's able to put the mountain jump forward onto Dark Margo, but Dark Margo's up into the air. They've heals up, but Ramses won't return. Dark Margo's still alive. They push back Ramses with the God's Rebuke. Dark Margo, he's going to live through it all.
Excellent fight. A great catch from the Brood mid into another chase up from Dark Mago, and then Morphling just dies twice. It's looking really hard for 9Pandas to fight into this team fight draft from Beast Coast. It's getting to the point where they got their items, they have the strength, and now it's up to the 9Pandas to find a way to dodge it.
I mean, and what you said, I mean, we're sort of watching Ramses, but whether the portrait comes out and suddenly the rest of the team, they can't really get over to help him.
Yeah, because the Morphling was in Medusa form, so it was a Medusa illusion, so they can't kill it at all. And the Keeper of the Light and the Rubick were just kind of stuck waiting to enter the fight, but they can't.
I mean, it's seeming like a difficult situation for 9Pandas now. They had that lead, and a few times now they've had the Aegis, they've had the cheese this time around. It didn't matter. They're still not quite able to outplay Beast Coast in these team fights. I mean, what do you imagine the comms are like right now for 9Pandas? Like, how are they looking to change their approach to these moves? What do they got to do differently to be able to tackle Beast Coast in these team fight situations a little bit better?
I think they're feeling like their front line isn't strong enough. I guess there's too many stuns, so the Brood and the Morphling can't really play this like aggressive push out lanes, get your BKB off, win the game. So they're probably struggling to find a way to lock down heroes and like allow the supports to play behind some sort of front line. Because every fight always seems to the Beast Coast just kills a hero. Some guy gets stunned for 20 seconds and he dies.
Yeah, and with the outcome of these fights as well, and what Parker's been able to pick up from them, he is starting to get super far ahead of Ramsey's Morphling, about an 8,000 gold difference. On top of this completed Butterfly Daedalus, he's closing in on being able to get this Swiftling upgraded as well. Like, he's getting fully stacked 34 minutes in. This Medusa's terrifying. And as we've seen, they've not only got the Medusa, this dark portrait of Ramses. It feels like too many carries for 9Pandas to deal with in these perfect fights that Beast Coast are being able to set up against them.
Yeah, it's been the two cores of Beast Coast have been top of the network the whole game, and it's felt like there's been no contest for 9Pandas. They can't really deal with them, and all the Beast Coast supports have to do is just click all their spells, and the supports have ended up carrying every single fight. But again, it's like very nice played by both sides of Beast Coast. Like, the supports have been great positioning, getting all their spells off, getting the arena off, getting the silence off, and the cores have just been hitting their spells, getting the position in the fight. They focus really good targets every time. You know, the second the Morph enters the fight, they all turn kill him. So really nice team fight execution so far.
Dire's top
Beast Coast not afraid to get a bit of a push going themselves now as they're up to the tier 2 top. Parker ready to present himself, knowing that it's very difficult to kill him, even if they're able to get the jump onto this Medusa right now. How stacked he is.
The interesting thing is Aegis is dead for a really long time. I don't think Roach starts spawning for 4 more minutes, so
Radiant's
the game's kind of open. Beast Coast can either choose to keep farming, they can choose to try to end the game, force them back. It's kind of the ball's in their park now.
I mean, yeah, for Beast Coast side of things, how would you imagine they're kind of considering playing this one out? Do they need to force it, or do they just keep waiting for 9Pandas to bring the fight to them and just taking the advantage that way?
I think they feel really confident just to keep existing on the map and getting more gold. At some point, Mars is going to get this Hex finished up. He has the BKB now. The Leshrac and the Medusa keep scaling throughout the whole game, so they're not too worried. Again, they're the ones who have to take the fight, so they're just going to keep trying to set up the map where they're near an objective or they're defending an objective. So pushing out the lanes to hitting the towers or kind of catching them when they're pushing your towers is kind of the goal for Beast Coast.
Dark Portrait's going to be back up for this defense. Taurus trying to set up with the Dark Marker, but Dark Marker is able to break the combo here as he self-fuels into Global's out. BKB's going to be popped by Ramses. Sacred comes on the backlines with the arena. They've locked out Solo. Solo's gone. Ramses is core. The two of them dead. Mirror's got to run. He's into the trees. He's going to try and hide here. Pull up for the TP out. Meanwhile, outside the base, Sacred continues to get the further catch and set up onto Antares. It's 3 dead on 9Pandas.
Great fight. That's the defense that they were looking for. They find an objective. They get all the kills. They jump on the backline. Medusa Swift Blink ult. There's an arena. There's nothing for 9Pandas to really do.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be frustrating for 9Pandas, right? This is what sort of 3 back-to-back fights that have began on their own terms, and they're just not going the way that they would hope for. Beast Coast slamming them down each and every time. These fights, they're never going to get easier at this rate for 9Pandas. Like, how do they change the state of this game? Because right now it's looking like Beast Coast, they're going to be able to take this one home.
It's really hard. Schofield did get the ideal fight. He got a soulbind on both the Morphling and the Brood and got dark purchase of both of them. And the Morphling just got the leader at the start of the fight. So it keeps seeming like, you know, you can keep saying, oh, Beast Coast keeps hitting the perfect fight, the perfect jump, but if every fight and every jump is perfect for Beast Coast, then what is the solution for 9Pandas? Which I don't really see the solution as of now. It's looking pretty tough. It probably revolves around this Hex and trying to burst this Leshrac when he's being a little too aggressive, or killing the Mark before arena. It's just hard for them to actually have the opportunity to kill the heroes of Beast Coast. Beast Coast just goes, and you don't have a choice.
Yeah, their jumps have been excellent. 9Pandas.
It's even the Aegis hasn't been enough. They've had Aegis twice. It didn't do anything either time. So now you can't even say to yourself like, oh guys, don't worry, we'll get third Aegis. It'll be different this time. It just, you need to do something different. I also like how Schofield just keeps taking illusions of the Manta of Morph and just running it down. Keeps cutting every wave. The supports are just terrified of the Morphling illusion. There's nothing they can do. It's really good for vision too.
Is there any sort of item that get the catch on to Stinger? Kiataka put the BKB for this effort, but Stinger's going to be perfectly fine. If they can get anything more from this, I mean, jump forward from Dark Margo. He's looking for Solo. Solo will get Glimmer. They've got the Hex on a Ramses. He'll still get the BKB off in time. Return, take out his illusion. Now looks towards Dark Margo. Dark Margo getting low to bring down the ledge. If they can find more here. No, the jump's in from Parker. The arena's out as well. They've trapped Ramses. They've trapped Mirror. Ramses in trouble. He's falling low. Will manage to waveform away this time as Ramses gets out. Only just. Pandas finally finding some sort of trade that does benefit them there as they do get Dark Margo. They manage to get everybody else out apart from the Disruptor. They're only lost there.
But they see Kiyotaka on a ward actually. They might catch him.
See with the jump for Sacred. We're caught by the Hex. Good pushback to make sure he doesn't get caught by the stun. But he's up in the air with the Yules. The Spear's there to follow up. And indeed, Kiyotaka not quite respecting the fact that they potentially have vision on him. Mira's going to try and help out in this fight. The fight looks like to already be over. I mean, Kiyotaka's gone. They don't want to stick around for this whatsoever. Mira has to back off.
It was a good fight until that. Now it kind of feels even worse. The Roshan it's a late spawn, 2.5 minutes until it spawns, but I thought the fight was going to be amazing for Beast Coast. They catch the Rubick, they catch the Keeper of Light at the start, but they don't get either. Rubick actually has a BKB, so the Mars can't do anything to him. It's kind of one of those things where 9Pandas just runs out of juice after like 15 seconds of the fight. Once their BKBs are down, they don't have a solution to all the stuns for Beast Coast. And it feels like the game just keeps getting harder and harder every minute for 9Pandas.
I mean, Parker's farm's just insane. It feels like if he gets one more team fight under his belt, he's going to be close to maybe even doubling this Morphling set where he's 15,000 gold ahead.
Yep.
Crazy numbers. You know, obviously has the Ags, has the Shard. He's just got really, with the Tread still in play, one more slot to replace in a Moon Shard. I mean, if this game continues for 10 minutes or so, he's going to be completely stacked.
Yeah, I don't even know if he needs 10 minutes more, like 3 or 4 minutes.
True, yeah.
All this farm. And now both teams just want to set up for Roshan. It's Radiant, so advantage for Beast Coast on the Roach fight. So they'll probably just say buybacks on all their heroes if they can, which is right now only the Mars has buyback for them. So it's not a huge advantage, but again, anytime that Beast Coast kind of gets to take a full 5v5, it's an advantage for them.
Ramses! Again with the opening stun, and then the Dark Portrait out upon him, he just because it's completely destroyed. As that's Ramses gone, 480. Push coming in now from Beast Coast. I mean, Pandas, they have to get out of it, they've got to run. No fight to be had. The creeps coming in. Beast Coast, they can look to push hard. As Antares, he's also been spotted. Gets some safety here with the Glimmer Cape. These two not quite have the detection on the front line, so Antares will get the safety to blink away. The Dark Portrait was still looking for him inside the base. Won't catch him. They'll smoke up with the fourth, and they do have buyback available on Ramses if they want to try for some risky high ground defense. Parker, he's just straight in. The buyback will come out. They get the Hex on a Parker. Buyback from Ramses. They're focusing the Medusa. He's getting more mana. They're going to be able to bring him down. Parker, he's out. The defense, it will begin, but they'll still lose Mira. Ramses has got to be careful. He pulled back for this one. Backs away from Sacred. Now let's get back in with the waveform. They'll take out Sacred. He gets caught by the stun Ramses, but they're outnumbering Beast Coast this time round as 9Pandas will hold, push back Beast Coast, and they'll get a fourth here. The Hex catches Stinger on the retreat. Triple kill for Ramses. The buyback pays off.
It was a aggressive blink. He gets Disrupt ulti, doesn't get the Stone Gaze off. And that's kind of the one thing that's moving them to fights. He blinks it with Stripling in the back line. That's the Stone Gaze, but when he doesn't get that off, they can actually just focus him.
Around the mid, Kiyotaka, he's maybe seeing if he can get more from this. He's found, but to chase down onto the Grimstroke. Schofield gone as well. It's an effective team wipe as 9Pandas they do what was seemingly the impossible there against this strength that Beast Coast were burning up. They defend the base. It's obviously an expensive one. They have to use 3 buybacks to push them back. But it's a big pushback. Opens up the map for them to get Roche, get this Aegis, and maybe get some damage done whilst the entirety of Beast Coast is dead.
This is also the third, so there's an Ags, which
Roshan
I don't
has
really know who will
fallen
take
to
it.
the
Maybe the
dark.
Brood or the little spiders or spinner snare.
Which I'll be in the backpack for now, so maybe
Radiant's
considering, I
middle
mean, who
tower
else is
is
making
under
sort of a
attack.
claim for it?
Maybe Kiyotaka to give them more of a team fight, to try to contest this team fight from Beast Coast. Or even the Rubick, I could see.
Radiant's
As
top
the
tower
Disruptor
is
did have
under
Ags.
attack.
Yeah, they're passed it over to Antares.
This Disruptor Ags is probably the one way for 9Pandas to win a team fight. Whether they get the view on the Medusa, so he doesn't get BKB
Radiant's
and ult
bottom
off when he gets
tower is
when he
under
has to
attack.
finish BKB first. But for the Leshrac, even if they start, they need to make the one core. I think on the
Radiant's
side of
middle
9Pandas.
tower is
Once
under
one
attack.
core dies, the fight
Radiant's
is really free
bottom
for them.
tower has fallen. Radiant structures
Also a free
are
rack.
fortified.
See, they might be able to clear out these illusions in time. They do. They've got the glyph, so they'll hold this. I mean, 9Pandas, they'll smoke. But this is where it gets risky now for 9Pandas. Sure, they've got the Aegis and the Cheese. They're playing now in a portion of the game where buybacks weren't forced out on Beast Coast. 9Pandas, they've got a few of theirs on cooldown. A wrong move could be deadly.
Looks like they want to jump, kind of following one of these waves, but Light will back. He'll push top out. Has Octarine finish, has the Illuminate damage, so every wave will just die to him anytime he wants. It's now... I think it's still on Beast Coast to not feel pressured. 9Pandas feels pressured with his Aegis. They lose one fight, the game's over.
Yep.
They kind of get one hero picked off, even maybe the game's over. So,
Margo. He's going to be able to get the catch onto Solo. And Solo gone for 100
Radiant's top
seconds. The
tower is
first
under
dieback to
attack.
occur, as his buyback still cooldown for 5 minutes.
the line has been drawn down the mid lane.
And if they go for this again, if they get another catch onto well, the big ones, Miro and Ramses. Sure, they are the two with the Aegis and the Cheese, but if they get those out of the game, it will be game over for 9Pandas.
Yeah, I think there's nothing really stopping them. This Disruptor was kind of the pivotal part of how they hurt Medusa the first time.
Dire's middle tower
And now that they
has
don't
fallen.
have it, there's not really a way for them to kill Medusa. So he can just do whatever he wants.
They're going to jump. Got the jump on the Ramses. Get the Hex. Be protected right now by the E-Blade. Will put the BKB. Try and turn towards Dark Margo. They'll put the fortification. Stinger sort of frontlining right now. They've brought Ramses pretty low this first time round. Antares telekinesis is back up at the tier 4. Trying to keep it safe and away from his own Dark Portrait. And Dark Margo, he's running up towards the tier 4s. Antares himself has the BKB to run. They turn towards Mirror. They've got Mirror with the Hex. They've got him with the form. No, the BKB is there in time. Mirror able to get the BKB off before the spear connects into the wall of the arena. BKB soon to be finishing though. Mirror is still caught by the follow silence. Mirror is glimmered up. Turns now back in with the stun on towards Sacred, and Dark Margo falling for Dark Margo. He'll somehow surviving throughout it all. Mirror out for 2 minutes. No buyback on the Spider.
They'll be able to get these kills while the Beast Coast is trying to get out.
And Parker been caught by the Hex. Dark Margo's going to jump back in. He's got the Hex. He's got the stun follow on to Ramses. Ramses trying to move the sides, trying to move this Phantom Embrace as quickly as he can. He is able to get it off him, but need to pop here. Dark Margo Blink still on cooldown for a few seconds, so he won't be able to jump into the base. Ramsey should be able to reset.
I think 9Pandas will be able to hold. A little expensive for them. They lose the Broodmother, dieback, they lose the Aegis, but Throne's not dead. Probably the best they could hope for in that situation. And Disruptor is alive. Their way back into winning a fight is here. It's just so much damage from either the Dark Portrait of the Morphling, whether it's himself, or the Medusa, all these Medusa illusions that can't really be killed as well. Just everything just starts dying. The second arena's placed down by Sacred, 9Pandas can't maneuver the fight. I don't really know what's the next item that will change the situation. He's going for activity on the Morphling, but he hasn't really been hitting, so it's not really been an issue of doing damage. The Broodmother has a butterfly now, but he also hasn't really been able to hit and do damage. So the question is what are they going to do to actually be able to kill the Medusa or kill the Leshrac? Which is, maybe it's this Nullifier. I could see the Nullifier as a way to purge the Yules that they have, the 4 staffs, and a way to just kill the hero that they see. It's the one way that they have to win these fights.
Setting up with a smoke bottom. Stinger will show himself as he drops the curse. They know he's in the trees, but he's got a lot of friends here.
No buyback on Stinger.
Be careful to get this jump, and they do. Sacred's not going to be in the ledge with the spin. BKB's out from Antares and Kiyotaka, they're on the retreat. Global comes out, Ramsey steps forward, he's looking towards Schofield. Schofield is able to turn with the Phantom's Embrace onto Ramses. Ramses with his own BKB, wave bombs away, hopes for the TP out, he's out before the Stone Gaze freezes in position, so Ramses will get out.
They lose the Rubick, they use their BKBs, but don't lose the Morphling, don't lose the game, and there's no rush for 3 minutes, so it's up to Beast Coast to kind of be the ones to push this advantage, and it looks like they're just going to walk down the lane and try to kind of force something here.
Maybe at least get the buyback out from the Rubick.
It's so cool that Schofield just, every time that there's a Morphling Manta illusion, he just steals it. It's an own illusion, and more often than not, the illusion actually has found a hero and just started to pressure the hero, kill heroes, so this Ags on Grimstroke was really good timing for them, it turns out.
Definitely seems it may have been the plan all along here for Beast Coast because it's looking like a solid one. There's the Nullify done for Miro. Maybe that item that will, as you say, enable them a chance to kill one of these sort of unkillable causes it seemed between Dark Margot and Parker for quite some time.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Yeah, so 9Pandas have really good base defense because they just have this Keeper of the Light, one of the best heroes in the game defending your base, but the question is always, you know, is defending enough? You need to win the fight and actually win the game, so...
And look at this Dark Portrait go. It's pretty much taken down the racks. They'll jump forward, they get the Hex on a Dark Margot. BKB from Miro, they want to full commit here on towards the Leshrac.
Can't enter the fight.
They have to step back now. Evelyn will be thrown out, but Dark Margot is keeping his cool. He's still at the BKB ready to pop. He'll pop it now. Back away from the base. They'll look to get the other waves pushed in. They're going to try and punish this. They get the cat. They get the glimpse back. They caught Dark Margot on the attempt to retreat. They've got it. If they can find more up to the high ground, they'll look towards Stinger. Stinger's going to try for the TP out. They'll catch him at the start. As 9Pandas, they have to move out fast to the base to sort of cancel the escapes from Beast Coast, and they succeed. They take out 2 of them.
Yeah, Beast Coast ended up not dewarding this cliff ward, kind of behind on the Tricamp. So, caught the retreat from the Leshrac, they got the Hex on him, and now, here's 9Pandas opening. They got to kill Nicor.
Yeah,
unfightable.
They might be able to force a situation where Dark Margot has to consider the buyback, and then it'll be Beast Coast that will have a core in a position that could get a bit tough. On the side of 9Pandas, time has passed. Ramses, he has his buyback back online. Miro, he'll have his as well, just a few hundred gold away from it. So 9Pandas, they definitely got through a tricky part of the game that they ended up in after that buyback situation, that buyback defense earlier. They managed to push the game onwards to a point where it really could go either way. 27 to 32, 1K lead for 9Pandas, as close as ever right now. To Schofield, they can burst him, they make the jump, they've got it. Schofield out as well, Parker will put the Stone Gaze, they turn away from him, buyback comes in from Schofield, but this standing storm, he's able to get in, he's able to catch the 3 of them, and now they turn towards Parker, Parker's in trouble, saving himself a Sacred, Parker's gone, Sacred's gone, the buyback, they're all coming out now here for Beast Coast. As 9Pandas look to step back, the arena is going to get laid down, it will catch Miro, looks like the Spider might be left behind. The BKB's out there, no Miro, he'll still die. They get Miro, can they get Ramses? They got him with a stun, they're silent, they will, they'll kill off the 2 claws. The rest of 9Pandas TP away, but this time it's Beast Coast having to go all in to defend here. 4 buybacks coming out, and then having to do so because it's Solo getting that fantastic 3-man catch.
That was an amazing static storm. The 9Pandas cannot ask for anything else other than that from Solo.
This game's crazy. We're 50 minutes in, and I mean, we'll see what Beast Coast can do now, how much risk they can take, whilst none of their team has buyback available. They desperately want to be able to maybe force a buyback out of Miro or Ramses, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Roshan potential's there, that will be up in 20 seconds. It looks like Beast Coast might just settle to try and set up for that rather than trying to force these buybacks out.
Yeah, it was a really hard position for Beast Coast. Their kind of instant stun has always been this Lesh with the Hex the whole game. And so if he's the one who wants to buyback, he's kind of waiting for a random spear from the Mars. So in the end, it's kind of that 9Pandas dives in, so he's able to buyback and get these catches. So turns out that the fight's really good for Beast Coast, but they did use 4 buybacks. They used it on all 3 cores. They used it on the Grimstroke, so now Beast Coast is in the position where you lose one fight, you just lose the game.
Yeah, they will get the Aegis by the looks of it. So with the 2 cores down on 9Pandas, they won't threaten this. So no buybacks. They're going to have to be very clever with who they put the Aegis on. I mean, who do you put the Aegis on?
Probably the Leshrac.
Still on the left?
I think so. The Medusa hasn't really been dying, and go in.
They're going to opt for Parker to take it.
They're just going to let him do everything.
Yeah.
Let him be frontline. And
sure.
There's also an Ags, which I don't know who he went to.
I think it must have been... Well, it wasn't Sacred, so... It was Silencer.
Silencer.
They give it to Stinger.
I thought they might give it to the Leshrac.
Yeah.
Kind of have a way to let him kite out the fights more, but there's a nullifier on the Broodmother, so it kind of lowers the value of this Ags. And the Silencer Ags scales really well if he ends up getting 12 or 25.
Oh yeah, if he gets that mute, yeah.
Also, it pushes out lanes. It gives him another way to push lanes out, so not the worst Ags in the game by far. It's still a really strong Ags, but we'll see how much impact it has in these coming fights.
Dartmouth actually just buys his own.
That's probably also why he had the parts in the courier, didn't want to waste the gold.
9Pandas, they know that, as we say, that sort of the power has fallen into their hands now. They get any of these kills against Beast Coast, and they could look to take this game 1. 5 minutes. 5 minutes the Beast Coast have to be as cautious as ever. I mean, 5 minutes, would you imagine Beast Coast just don't leave the base during this time? Is that how you play this out now? Will it reach the buyback situation? What do you do?
Yeah, you have this Aegis, so it feels awkward, right? Because you want to use this Aegis, but
it's so risky.
I don't think the Medusa can't really die. He's always the one dying last, unless they use everything on him. And
oh, well, that's kind of why you wouldn't have minded seeing it on Dark Margot instead.
yeah, I think that it would actually give them the opportunity to move around the map, because the Leshrac could feel free to just blink in, kind of get 1 kill and trade his life for it, and Medusa's able to blink in second. Now, it's all on JimPark to just push out the lanes by himself, blink in first by himself.
This wraparound for 9Pandas. East Coast coming out along this mid lane like this, it's definitely a risk.
9Pandas need to catch the supports. If they catch the Silencer or the Grimstroke, that's how they win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been, you know, that sort of mid to late game was the scope of show of what he was doing in terms of impact of his axe. As we saw now, it falls later on. It's over to the side of 9Pandas with Solo. He gets a good static storm, can be game over.
Now Beast Coast is moving into this big jungle. They want to get this catch.
They're in here.
Hero's going to pop the smoke.
It's going to be BKB super early. They're going to try and get the catch onto Parker, but they're hesitant with how heavily they commit for this. It's going to turn now back over towards Miro. Rubick spotted a little bit part of them, protected from the E-blade. BKB as well. Push used it by Dark Margot. They really want to kill this fight off. The arena's down. They'll get it. Miro's gone for 100. Ramses, way from across. They got the static storm on top of Parker. Solo's out though. Got his jump done though. He did lay down the ult. Ramses, he'll opt to get out of this one with the BKB TP. He'll make it away. As Beast Coast, they'll hold the high ground and make sure that 9Pandas don't find the fight they were looking for.
Nice catch. They get the Brood, and 9Pandas try to save him. Use everything. Keeper the Light's trying to stick around. He even gets binded to him at some point, but it's really hard when 9Pandas doesn't get the jump on one core. They have to. Every fight has to be one guy dies to 9Pandas, or you just don't have enough damage. It's just they're so tanky this side of Beast because Medusa and Leshrac, all these heroes just build HP at this point. So
under attack.
if you spread your damage too thin, it's not enough.
Dark having to deal with the defense. Of course, does have their bots too, so can join the team. 40 seconds where they don't have to worry about potential Ag Static Storm coming out from Solo.
There's still 80 seconds left on the Aegis, and you know, tier 5 neutral items in 5 minutes. Maybe the teams want to have a little fun, so we'll see how to push, but they just go high ground.
Parker's in. Takes up the tier 3. Dark Portraits out of Ramses. To the Medusa to try and deal with Dark Portrait that's been summoned out by Schofield, and the Portrait's just ripping through the barracks. The range racks are gone in the mid lane. Trying to push on forward for it, Parker. Trying to take out the Ignis Vartus. He's going to get caught once more by the Hex. It still feels strong with the 50 seconds of Aegis left. As Vartus ends, he can maybe potentially look back towards the barracks, but the fortification will get popped here by 9Pandas. Beast goes step back, 9Pandas got Solo back in the game, has got his Static Storm ready. The man low on Parker. Parker caught once more by the Hex, but he's forced back to safety.
It's like they don't do any damage to the Medusa right now. They just can't die. Now the Illusion will just probably take out the racks. You can't get Dark Portraits to supports and the mid-racks.
Some smoke from 9Pandas. This is where they were able to hit Beast Coast hard last time. Beast Coast backed off from the push, get chased down. Darkmar was able to pick up a lot of gold there. Many bounties as an area of the map hasn't been explored for quite some time. Can 9Pandas catch Beast Coast from this? I feel like after last time Beast Coast, they should be heading straight back to the base because they're going to know that 9Pandas are likely to just be chasing across the map, seeing if they can find any stragglers.
So there's a 60-second window with no Aegis but no buyback. So can 9Pandas actually get something in those 60 seconds? They shouldn't.
It's a small window, right? Just sit in the base, sit in the fountain,
yeah.
Wait for these buybacks.
it's just 1 minute. You have the melee Rex mid, so you don't really need to push out mid lane. And bot, you could just defend as a team in your base. So just kind of hide, don't do anything.
I mean, they're heading out at a risky point. I mean, maybe just sort of playing to the strength that maybe 9Pandas would just never expect this. You know, Beast Coast to look for a fight in these final seconds. Like, it's not too long whilst they don't have buybacks. It's still 30-40.
If you find the enemy side of the...
Solo! It's a good catch! They get the jump onto the Disruptor, they found Solo, he's gone! He was not ready. They did not expect this move to come out from Beast Coast, whilst 9Pandas would probably have been keeping track of the buybacks and felt that Beast Coast would have been waiting it out. Beast Coast, they strike just before 9Pandas expect.
Yeah, the nice thing is every time you're the aggressor, even if you die, it takes time for them to get to your base. So even when there's 40 seconds left in their buybacks, if they're the one jumping, it doesn't really matter if they die. By the time that 9Pandas got to their base, they're safe. So killing Solo, he's going to have to buy back if they want to defend the Rex.
Let's see back in preparation, 9Pandas. Attacker trying to slow things down. They get the hacks onto Darmargo. They can punish him. Darmargo's able to put the BKB Global Silence comes out. BKB from both Mira and Ramses, but they get frozen by the Stone Gaze. 9Pandas push back. East Coast are back off as well. They've got the tier 3. Another set of racks exposed.
Buyback force.
Darmargo's going to start clearing up the bottom lane. So to make sure that once this happens, there's a little chance for rat potential. Key Attacker's headed down here on his own. We're going to have anywhere near enough burst of one. Maybe. I mean, he's got the control with the Ignis Vatus. Margo still a bit too tricky to find. And now the backup comes in. Sacred's here. And Key Attacker sticks around. He could be in trouble. Sacred doesn't want to go for this. He's going to know the backup's coming in for Key Attacker. Ramses heading over. Schofield, a bit of a dangerous spot up on the high ground, but managed to get back over towards the rest of his team in time. 9Pandas, they look like they want to try and take this fight. I mean, Parker's in with the BKB. The static storm was there, but the BKB was already out from Parker, so he doesn't care about it at all. He's able to move over towards Mira. Caught by the Hex, the Brood is gone. No buyback available for him. As Mira's buyback still to be on cooldown. They've got to get out for the rest of them. The Snake catching on to Ramses. They've got them stun locked down. Ramses is out as well. As Beast Coast, now it's their turn to push it down the lanes. Ramses, as I say, he can come back for a second chance, but Mira, he's gone for a long time. Darmargo is over towards the mid, trying to see if he can get the catch on a Key Attacker, but Key Attacker was quick for the Hex jump forward from Darmargo. He's able to close in. Ramses buys back in response.
Nice little poke from Darmargo, forcing out the buyback really early. And Pandas is on a ward. Schofield just kind of playing on this clip forward in the bot terminal, and it opens up the entire game now for East Coast.
4 versus 5 defensive for 9Pandas. We'll see how well they can pull it off without their Spider.
Jump Hex on board.
They've got the catch. Ramses, pull back for this. They get the spear. Ramses, he's out as well for good. They've caught Ramses. 2 cores without buybacks here on 9Pandas as Beast Coast. They should have the opening now to close this one down. They're onto the tier 4s. Is there anything that these 3 members of 9Pandas can do left alone? Key Attacker and Solo, what can they do from this? They look towards Schofield, but Schofield just creating the space for the rest of the team to take down the tier 4s, expose the Ancient here. 60 minutes in, GG is called. Beast Coast will take this game 1.
Really nice team fighting, I think, for Beast Coast. I think that's kind of what won them the game. It was really hard early game. They're really far behind 9Pandas, but the way they execute these fights